Hey everyone, in this video we are going to be working with the process subject, and it's a really different take on how we've been classifying like the database, dataset, data point tables. We are going to create a process that allows us to classify on the fly, so we can send it a process or a process name, process realm, class, family, type, key name, and then a database and database type key name. So it will create those records if they don't exist, and then associate that process with the that newly created type ID. And when I say process, I mean procedure, function, job, web service, whatever. So it's this video really does show some flexibility on do you have the data stored already, or do you need to create it on the fly? So hope you enjoy, and see you soon. Alright, so the first thing to note is that the process table has a parent of a database ID. So for our incoming parameters, we're going to have to know what database it is, but instead of getting the ID, because an ID might change, we're going to get the key names for the database and the database type that we did in video 11, I believe, the first one of this sprint. So I'm declaring all of the incoming parameters for the procedure that we're going to create that will classify a process of some sort, function, procedure, whatever. So we need the process name, what we call it, the realm, class, family, type key names for the process, and then the database key name and type key name to determine where it's coming from. And I could just copy all of that data again, replace key name with ID, and then take away text to replace it with key, because these are IDs. And I can get rid of process name because we're not going to look up that ID yet. We don't have a change management procedure nor the logic to handle that yet. So just my standard select snippet, I'm going to try and locate the process realm ID based on the key name that is coming into this procedure. So this will be our top level key, and what it's going to be in this case, spoiler alert, is it's going to be procedure or function. We're going to classify what process, what's the realm of the process? What is this? So we have that very long key name extension and have different classifications, archive processes, because it's connected to a database. So if the process ID the realm ID is null, then I'm going to insert that record. Just using the standard one for our tenant, because we don't have that shape or table created yet. Cluster ID, I usually use multiples of 10, specific dataset number is 0, and the incoming realm key name will be the name and the key name, no matter if it's proper case or uppercase, which isn't something I would promote in this system, but currently these are internal tools, so we can go in and adjust those as necessary, but this is to get the system moving. So after inserting into that table, I'm going to just copy paste that above code and see if I can grab that process realm ID again, and if I can't, I'm going to raise error, which I really hate this key name because there's only one E in it, and that always bugs me. But this will be the beginning of our error catching, where the procedure is going to quit if it can't make it this far, and we'll wrap this in a try catch later on in the series and actually install error catching. I did not get my first select statement in here, so I'm just going to undo all of that and copy this full block. So this full block is going to take up the whole page, so every time I paste, it'll look like the page is shifted. So I just copied the realm block. I'm going to add another where condition where the realm matches, or the class's realm matches the realm that we had just obtained. And then I could just same thing, exchange the parent. I'm going to copy and paste that where condition again, and then I could highlight this entire record or this entire script, paste it, and we can replace class with family, and then family with type. Realm with class. I was thinking about the next one. And then I'll paste the same code that I had copied, and this time I will do class with type and realm with family. So at this point, we should have created a realm, class, family, and a type ID. So we should have the process type ID, the way to classify the process itself. Now we just need to get the database information. So we're going to call the database table using the key name that is incoming. We're trying to get the database ID. So once again, just using a snippet. So if the key name matches the database, we still have to type it because all 4 of our databases in the database table for interface have the same key name. So this is where the where-ins come into play, where we can filter it down further and further. So in this case, it will be the database by key name and the database type by key name, and the unique combination between those two will equal the database that we want. We could come in here and add system to the upper level, locking this into the system. In my case, I don't think that'll be necessary. I don't think I'll be using multiple systems that share the same database name, like AdventureWorks and Wide World Importers are on my radar, but that's it. So now it's just the 2 primary pieces I need, the database ID, the process type ID, and the process name, which are essentially the, what's that called? Least common denominator, the minimal amount of data that I'm required per table. And if those are available, then we can just insert that process record into the process table. Database ID is the parent, the process type ID, and we will use the process name as the actual name of the procedure, and just leave it null for the key name. Oh, I forgot my if not exists, so I'll just make sure that we check it. Now in the system, we're not going to find tables or processes with the same name in multiple databases, but we still have to follow that pattern of a unique pattern, because we're going to have to create unique indexes on all of these tables, and we'll get more into that later, but I usually try to do it on the parent plus the type plus the name. So that is basically it for the entire script. Now it's just going through and getting it into a procedure and testing it out, but it looks pretty solid. Nothing highlighted right now. So unless I'm blind, I think it should run pretty well. So same thing as always, we will do dbo.prc system and then object, and then we'll do process like the other procedures have that higher level grouping, and I'll just say classify process and paste that code. Take our insane number of parameters. Let's get rid of these default comments and paste the code up here. A little bit of formatting and create. So we're ready to test this out, and I'm just going to classify the procedure that I just made. So for me, I'm going to paste the procedure name for process name, and I'm going to give it a realm of procedure. We could give it a realm of system, and then a realm of object, and then a realm of, a class of system, family of object, and type of process. We know it will be an interface main, but we have different classifications that we can do because, you know, this isn't about adding intelligence to the name. So we could have a common type. We could have, I don't know, a common family instead, and then have like, this is a create type procedure, or this is a classify type procedure. And I think I'll use the classify. So we have these different groupings that we can make to really give us control over sets of data. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was talking about in the intro video. Set theory is evolving in this system. This is about sets of objects rather than, you know, joins. So it worked, got it in my table. That's it for this video. I guess I would advise you to classify the procedures the best way that you see fit, as sort of like practice. I mean, we don't have to align on a lot of these classifications. It's part of the system. This is what is the hardest part of the system, is classifying something. So thank you once again, and like this video if you'd like to share it with other YouTube users, and subscribe to support me. I will see you next time.